Hello, this is Bob Wainwright, physical therapist with Ariel Dynamics, and we're going to show you how to do a 2D biomechanics project from your cell phone. Step 1 is record the video, which we've done prior. Step 2 is to open our trimmer file, load our video, and first thing we'll do is load the raw AVI file. Now I'll play it forward until I get to the starting point that I want to digitize. As you can see, we have LED markers set up on all the body points we want to digitize. And stop. At this point, this is my first digitizing frame, so I select the option for sync and I select trim start. I continue on my video. Stop the video, and now I designate this frame as the very last end of the trimming. Now I've trimmed my video to the file that I want to digitize. I go to File, Save Trimming, and finished. Now we open the digitizing file. We'll say New Project, and we'll set up our demonstration video. Open the file. Now we'll set up the video. We'll set up the sequence. First, the title is 2-arm. We go to the units and we choose inches. And we have 10 body points that we're going to digitize. 4 control points. We use the system. And the height of the subject is 69 inches, and the weight is 189. Now we have to identify our points, so we go to the point ID, and we're going to start with the right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, left elbow, left wrist. Then we'll go down to the right hip and the left hip, and we'll choose 2 extras, right 1 and right 2. I'll go to my segments, and the first segment is the right elbow to the right wrist, making the right forearm. All segments are correct. We get to the very end, and I have right extra 2. I'm going to change that to forehead. And we're going to attach the forehead to the chin and make the head. Go back to the previous frame, and we'll change this to the chin. So now I've created a new segment called the head. All the rest of the segments are prior programmed for me. Looks good, I say OK. I'll connect the points. And now we have 4 control points. We have to set up the control points. I've decided to use my shoulders and my hips as the control points. The diameter, the width of my shoulders between the points is 20 inches. And, excuse me, the width of the shoulders is 12 inches and the distance between the hip and the shoulder is 20 inches. So my first point will be 0, 0, 0. My second point will be from my hip to my shoulder, and it will still be on the X would be 0, and on the Y it will be 20, and the Z will be 0 for 2D. Now we'll go to my right shoulder, and we know that the shoulders are 12 inches apart, so that's 12 inches. We're 20 inches high, and we're 0 on the Z. And we go down to the right hip, and we're 12 inches on the X, and 0 on the Y, and 0 on the Z. Now we set up our control points, everything looks good, and we proceed to pick our video. I select the video, and the one I want to choose is called double arm converted trim. File opens up. I see I'm in my starting position. The first thing I'll do is go to Control to set up the control points, and I will digitize. Since we're using my body as the calibration, I just simply go to Fixed Point as designated in the left lower corner, and the first point will be my left hip, second point will be my left shoulder, right shoulder is number 3, and right hip is number 4. So we have 4 control points and 1 fixed point, and we're finished. Back to the starting on the digitizing project. You see at the bottom we have fixed point. So I'll designate the fixed point, and it's asking me for the right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder, left elbow, left hand, right hip, left hip. And we have a complete, except for the head, chin, forehead, and now we have a complete figure. And I'll say go on automatic digitizing, advance to the next frame, and since we have LED markers, everything digitizes perfectly. 2 strides, and finished. We'll say auto process, meaning we'll transform the project into a 2D project and filter automatically. We'll go to display. Display shows the digitized figure. We'll try it. We'll say play. Looks pretty good. We'll look at it in multiple views. And we'll stop it. Take away the multiple views. Now we'll bring up the actual video. And we'll bring up the video with the digitizing stick figure in it. We'll grab a 3D analysis graph. In this case, we'll look for joint angle, displacement of the right upper arm versus the right trunk. And we'll look at that on the Z angle. And we'll look at the left upper arm against the left trunk on the Z. We'll grab the graph. Now we see the range of motion of my right hip, my right shoulder and my left shoulder, and we'll tile the windows so everything looks neat in one video, one screen, and we'll play forward. Now also I want to look at the data, the actual numbers. I'll bring up the data table and I'll put this over here. Now as we play forward, at any given point I can stop the project, look at the exact range of motion readings on the left and the right shoulder, and proceed from there. Now perhaps I want to see exactly what the range of motion is on each shoulder. I'll go to Tools, Label, Add. I'll choose Range, meaning range of motion. On the Y, I'll say OK, and I'll measure from this point to this point on the right shoulder, and I see I have 122 degrees, and I'll go from this point to this point on the left shoulder, and I have 129 degrees. So now I can begin my analysis of the project. And that's the end of today's lesson.